did? What's the 441 Martians? We live. We live. It's live. Putting up this astro chart. Bam, bam, bam. Y'all can see that astro chart right there. We're going to learn how to read our own damn charts today. Yeah, tap in, my brother. Peace, bro. I'm going to teach you how to read your own chart today. Learn how to look at this wheel and enter and understand your walk within that wheel. Because this right here is a birth chart. This is T-Pain. I looked this up on the internet. I'm not 100% sure how accurate the timing is, but we're going to give a little reading, a little astro reading with T-Pain. We're going to see how T-Pain chart breaks down, and you can follow the same breakdown to understand yourself and your own chart. So if you don't have an astro chart that looks like this, a little wheel and all that good stuff, you're going to need to do that first. You're going to need to get that first, you know? But yeah, man, peace everybody, all my Martians. How y'all doing today? It's 12:44. I see 144 within that number right there. So I know we right on time. I just know it. I know we right on time. I got my full mode energy. Peace out to my sis. But we're gonna break down the natal wheel, man. So let's get right into it. We don't want to bullshit around. T-Pain born September 30th, 1985. So you see a bunch of stuff going on. There's a whole lot going on. There's glyphs, there's lines, there's all kind of stuff. So let's sort this all out. So on the outside, the very outside, you have the wheels of the astro constellations, because this wheel is a snapshot of the sky from the birthplace that you stood when you were born. So you were born in he was born in Tallahassee, Florida. So you stand out and look at the sky and the stars. These glyphs all are symbols of the planets and the constellations that are in said location. So each one of those constellations are all located in a circular circumference, like so, around the wheel. Then on the inside, you see, like I said, those glyphs. And all those are different placements and different spaces that show you your astrology makeup, your planetary placements. And then those lines are, depending on which angle they are in position, they are conversations that are being had. So for example, if you can see right in the dead center in the middle, you see that blue line. That blue line is an opposition. And that opposition is, I don't even know what that opposition is. Chiron, and then I don't even know what that glyph is, to be honest, y'all. What is that glyph? It's got to be, let me make sure before I say that, because they look a little different. Okay, that's got to be Uranus. All right. That glyph just looks a little different, y'all. My bad. Yeah, that's got to be Uranus. So it's Chiron opposing his Uranus. And we can get into the breakdown of that, but there's a specific conversation that's being had when it's in opposition. Chiron and Uranus at that moment are both polar opposites, and they are seeking balance within each other. So his Uranus, things happening wildly, and his Chiron, his wounded healer. So something may happen wildly for him to trigger his emotional wounds, and then when he triggers that emotional wound, he goes to assess the situation. Uranus has brought a new understanding to how to balance your wounded healer. So you see how naturally these conversations work depending on what's going on. Like the red one is a square, and they have different placements based on what is going on. But what I like to do is just look at the ascendant. Now, this ascendant could be wrong, so we don't know. Could be a little wrong. But we're going to ride with what we got right here. Sagittarius in the ascendant. That means his rising star is in Sagittarian energy. Jupiterian ruled placements. So you can instantly, before you start doing a lot of other analyzations, you can instantly say that Jupiter rules this chart. Jupiter is the priority of this chart because it was on the rise when you were born. So Jupiter is in this wheel somewhere, so you will want to find Jupiter. If you look down at the bottom where it says Aquarius, the glyph that is right inside of that house where the Aquarius is Jupiter. Jupiter being 1, 2, 3 in that third house of Gemini. Communications, networking, expressive nature, talking. He's a musician, he's a rapper, he's a, singer. So you see how Sagittarius rules the placement and it follows suit based on where that planet is in your chart, because each house has a specific focus. If you don't know the specific focus, I talked about this yesterday. We went through the wheel. We started from left all the way around. We went from Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and then we ended with Pisces. So check that live out. I did that yesterday morning, and it was in basis to how your spirit evolves and ascends. But that's already a lot of info. Just look at your rising and look and see what is ruled. What planet is ruling your rising? That rules your chart. Then you look at the planet's placement in your chart. Where is it? That will give you an indication of how your life may play out in the aspect of whatever walk you're walking. So also Sagittarius rules the 9th house. You can look over to his 9th house at the top where it says Leo. There's no planetary placements there, but you see Leo there. So Leo in the 9th house says that he's going to be a person that awakens. He's going to be a person that is a star quality. People look to him for the word. People look to him to say something. And they're going to watch him every step of the way because he's the awakened being that is bringing the philosophy. Now maybe he was the one that was falling in love with a stripper, but he had everybody going crazy. So whatever T-Pain says based on this chart, the people are going to follow. That's basic breakdown. So Leo is in that 9th house. He has, and it's ironic or is perfect for his chart, that his Jupiter is opposite over there in the 3rd house. So that means his Jupiter is in the 3rd house and his Leo hood is in the opposite space, giving him that lucky royalty. He's a royal being. He's very, very spoken for in the astro, if you would say so, looking at this chart. And not only is T-Pain a rapper, he's actually, humanitarian kind of energy. He's a Libra sun, so he has that humanitarian energy. And while we're talking about it, you look at his sun, that circle with the dot. It's up at the top next to Libra right there. That's the sun glyph. That's showing you that he has an 11th house sun. So it speaks right into what I'm about to say. He has that humanitarian energy. He has that help the world, heal the world energy. When everybody was talking about ratchet stuff, he was ratchet with it, but he came out in love. He was like, I'm in love with it. You know what I'm saying? And the bartender, like all that was fun energy and it was loving. Like he came with the loving energy, but it was to bring people together. like I said, whatever he says is people are going to follow, because he just has that Leo ninth house that people are just radiating to. These are how you connect your rising to your chart. That's the very first thing that you want to do to understand whatever chart you may be looking at. And then you can get deeper into more energy. You can go down to the bottom to his IC, which is the very, very bottom of the wheel, the most bottom placement of the wheel. And that shows that he has Aquarius, Pisces on the cusp. Pisces on the cusp. Aquarius is down there, but it looks like he has a 4th house Pisces. So he probably has a very loving mother. He probably has a very outspoken mother, a mother that has spiritually helped him. Maybe his mother was a church-bound woman, or just a empathetic person, period. His roots and his energy of how he was raised was soft attention, paid attention, and gave him good, proper loving. So you can bet that T-Pain had a very loving family, and he comes from a very guided spiritually energy. Guided spiritual energy. So you keep going around the wheel. We're not talking about none of the planets just yet, but we're going to the descendant. Descendant, which is in that Gemini space. We were speaking about Chiron being over there. So the wounded healer is in Gemini. So Gemini with a wounded healer, he may start off with a very hard time saying what he feels, and people receiving the things that he is actually saying from his heart. Some people might even shun him, might treat him as an outcast based on the things that he says, or the uniqueness of his networking approach, conversational approach, or communicative approach. So those are some of the things that may harm him in his early years of walking. So it's for Gemini Chiron to look at what is being said, what is happening, and to assess what's really happening. The truth is that he is speaking too much truth to light. Some people can't handle it. They might shun his light. But once he gets to a point where he understands that the things that he says are truth and they need to be spoken, they need to be putting power behind it, then he voices his opinion and he becomes a star. So I'm sure before he was the star, he had a very hard time making music that people wanted to hear, or people accepting his music. I think he was in that space where he was looking for that sound, that zap sound, that computer love sound, and he was doing the auto tune, looking for the auto tune. He has a wild story about how he was looking and searching for that auto tune. You know, when he finally found that auto tune, when he found that voice, he was able to broadcast that energy and heal the world. His music is healing. People love his music. They dance to it, they vibe to it, they step to it, and he's a very, very great person to listen to. He has a podcast, and people love to hear his music. So it's just this shows in his chart. You can see the particulars in his chart based on how these things work. So you keep going around the wheel to the top of the chart, very, very top of the chart. You're looking at the MC. You're looking at the MC in Virgo, actually. MC in Virgo is who you're going to be. MC in Virgo is going to be the same thing we're talking about. This breaks down the same energy. His chart, like, it's going to be a theme to your chart. So he has Virgo in the MC. He's the person to profess speech. He's the person that has the speaking quality that tells the truth. He gives the energy out to others so that they can enter and understand themselves, or understand how the world may work in a specific manner. So he has the MC up there. And while we're talking about the MC, it looks like you have conjunct MC Mars which is the glyph right next to the letters MC. That's the glyph for Mars. And right next to that glyph, he has Venus. So it looks like all three of these, Mars and Venus, both of those planets are in your MC. Mars and Venus are up there. All three of those are placements. So MC is a placement too. So that's what I was about to say. All three of those are placed right there together, conjunct, which means they all feed off of each other. So who he is going to be in his life is based on his love and his ability to do things. The love and ability gets him to where he needs to be, the man that speaks and professes the truth. You see how this wheel comes together? Y'all see how this wheel comes together? You know what I'm saying? So now you're back towards, you go back around the wheel, you're back at the ascendant. So you went around the wheel, you've identified the ascendant, you identified the MC, which is your roots, you've identified the descendant, which is who you, how you feed off of others' energy, and then you look at the MC, who you're going to be. All of those tie into a specific story that you can see play out as the person named T-Pain. I don't even know what his real name is. What's T-Pain's real name, y'all? Comment his real name. Anyway, the MC takes you back to the ascendant, which is who you walk and going to be as a, that's the star that you look to. You know, MC is who you grow to be, but the star that you look to forever from the beginning is your ascendant, because that's the person you show on the outside when you first begin to meet somebody. Even like as you are out in the world, you may introduce yourself with your ascendant, and as they get to know you, they'll see your IC. And sometimes you will reflect, or most times out of not, you will reflect the descendant information on the opposite side of your chart. So a lot of people that you see and meet may even be that specific sign that you see on your descendant, because they're here to teach you a certain balance, to balance your star energy out a little bit, you know. So it's all key on how you add these subtleties together so that you can see a big picture. These planets are not in a space by accident. You are not playing out some role by accident. These are all star quality energies that come from the inside, and they manifest onto the physical as we see them today. So what else can we say about my man T-Pain? He has a lot of energy over here in this spiritual side. It's not balanced chart. He has a lot of energy on that left side. And it's all spiritual energy. Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. Virgo is the last of the physical. Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius are energies. And then Capricorn and even Aquarius, he has a planet in every one of those houses all the way around. So he has a very spiritual walk and a very enhanced nature about him because of his spiritual essence. He is led by faith and led by his spirit 8 times out of 10. I'm sure of it. You know, now he's a human being. Everybody's human, but I'm just saying that to say that he has a higher thought process that is not always that is always expressed on his surface. He has a North Node in Taurus over there. So his South Node is in Scorpio. Like I said, he comes from a very, very spiritual basis. There's a spiritual basis in him and his family that is connecting right here on this chart. All that energy is all spiritual energy. But he's come this year, he's come this lifetime to be North Node in Taurus. So you're finding self-value. You're finding physical pleasure. You're enjoying the physical a little bit more than the spiritual this time. Because he's already spiritually led. He doesn't have to work at the spirit. The spirit kind of leads him a lot easier than some. Some people fight their spirit because they're new, they're babies. But some people are obedient, and their spiritual guides have been here for a long time. They're just here to get a little bit of fun in the physical, a few more lessons, and then they out of here. You know, it depends on how your walk goes, family. You know what I'm saying? But this is just little breakdowns on how you can read your own damn chart. You ain't got to text me for no chart reading. Learn how to read your own chart. Learn how to edify yourself. Learn how to begin calculating your own destiny. He has Pluto in his 12th house. So that indicates that he may have disruptive changes in his spiritual space. Maybe because the spirit is allowing him to manifest the things that he needs. So that Pluto is working hard in that 12th house to manifest what is useful, to tear down the things that are not useful. Look for your Pluto in your chart. Find Pluto in your chart. And Pluto it'll be a place where you might have some of the most difficult journeys in Pluto, because Pluto is going to fight you to the death and not taking no for an answer. If Pluto sees something that's in your chart, or in your life that's not applicable to your rising, it's getting it out of there. It's going to get it out of there, and you're going to have to reflect on the rubble on the ground. You're going to have to watch the demo. You're going to have to participate in the demo of whatever house that you built. You may have took your time on that house too, but if it don't serve purpose right then and there in your life, and Pluto is activating a certain thing, and you're not paying attention to it, they'll knock it all down. And you have to start it from a new space. So each placement is important to understanding where you are placing energy at, because you don't want to put demolition energy in a place where you're supposed to be building up at. So he doesn't want to put demolition energy in his humanitarian space where he has Mercury and his sun, and Mercury and his sun speak to feeding others, speak to talking to others, speaking about the right things with others so that they can understand their damn self. He has Libra in that house of the humanitarian, the Aquarius, so he has a lot of love. He has a lot of pureness to the things that he does for others. And I don't know everything about T-Pain, but I think he has non-profit things going on. He has a whole video game warehouse. I don't know. It has a lot of other different aspects where he feeds other people by giving them jobs, giving them opportunities, and he stays busy doing big things. And not to mention, my man, he got the big gauges. Anybody that has gauges, they have some type of spiritual energy. Even if they're not identifying it directly, there's a spiritual energy for people who wear ear gauges, because it's an ancient practice, and it's a practice that helps you further yourself from spirit. So you stretch your earlobes to exemplify that you do not feel the pain, and you do not need the physical all the way. It's a real complex statement. But why else do you have earring gauges? Some people think they're cute, but I identify earring gauges the same as the lip thing. There's practical reasons to them, but there's spiritual edifications as well. So like I said, man, y'all read your own damn chart. If you can't read it, I will read it for you. I'm your spiritual astro tour guide, 33rd eye. Tap in, man. Check in. We're going to be going live with more downloads. We're going to be putting more downloads into the ethers. We're done throwing stones, man. I'm not throwing stones in the ocean no more. I'm jumping out the base. Jumping out the base. And I'm crash landing my entire whale body into this ocean so that this energy can resonate, because I'm not the only one that needs to hear this. I'm be talking to my shadow self a lot of times, but somebody else needs to hear this too. You feel me? Tap in. Blessings, man. Y'all have a beautiful Thursday, y'all. One.